What's up, everyone? I thought I'd do a little Nier Reincarnation Subjugation tier list. So I made my own, so it's all my opinion, and if you disagree, you're wrong. Alright, so starting with Triple S, this isn't even an argument in my book. So in terms of DPS, Celeb Gayle is just absolutely broken. With her Vigor and Bold Vigor buffs, as well as, you comboing her, especially with Christmas Akeha. She can do 300 million damage. Not many other characters can do that in the game. So she's at the top, and also her character skill is a 50% defense break for 30 seconds. Come on. Absolutely busted. In the second slot, we have EX Baldy. So he's a bit annoying to use because, in order for him to do massive damage, he has to be below 15% health or something like that. And I haven't unlocked him yet. But in all the high level runs I've seen, he is always in the third wave doing 50 billion per hit. So he's up there for his DPS as well. Although I wouldn't unlock him straight away. I'd probably go EX Lars or Lavania first and then go for him if I was just starting out on Subjugation. In third, we have the best support in the game for Subjugation, which is Christmas Akeha. And in order to get the higher scores, high triple S scores, you have to have her. She's irreplaceable, which sucks because I don't have her. So RIP. So she'll do a 15% attack buff, I think, and then from memory she has the pursuit buff. So the buff on attacks with 2 or 3 hits or more, something like that. So pursuit buffs are the strongest buffs in the game because when you stack them together, they multiply each other, whereas the other ones kind of just add. But they don't extend the duration of the buff like attack. So if you use 2 pursuit buffs, they'll just run out after 20 seconds after they're used, for example. Whereas if you have attack buffs, if you use a 10-second buff and then you use a 30-second buff, that 10-second buff will be reset and will end at the 30 seconds after the second buff. A bit confusing, but look it up. So those 3 are kind of the gods. They'll be in every single run of Triple S teams. I don't think I've seen many teams that don't have all 3 of them in terms of Triple S 10 teams. In terms of SS characters, so we have EX Lars. I've tried to organize it left is better, right is worse. Roughly, especially for the top 2. So EX Lars just does so much damage. He has increased damage on crits with his character skill, and you get well over 1,000% damage, which is insane. He's probably the first EX character you should go for if you're looking to get into SS/Triple S territory in Subjugations. So really, he's just there for his DPS. His sword is really good as well. So definitely worth getting. Along with, I forgot to mention, Anniversary Gale's sword is very good too for the light subjugation, so a lot of them come with good weapons. Next is Celeb Saryu, so she's really good in Wave 1 because she has a 5-hit character skill, and if you can reset the wave so that she takes no damage, she'll do tons and tons of damage with her Bold Vigor passive. A2, just always a good DPS character. Wave 1 or 2 in high level, but you can certainly use her in Wave 3 if you don't have anyone else. Definitely worth slabbing. Her sword's not the greatest, to be honest. It's okay, but yeah, it's mainly for the character. If you have her, she's good. Next is EX Lavania, another really good EX character. He's not going to do crazy DPS. You can definitely get 30, 40, 50 million with him. The reason why he's so good is he has a timed 40% attack buff, which you can then extend with companions and weapon skills and stuff. So it's really easy to max out his attack buffs. His character skill's also a defense break, which does 1,000% damage as well. So very good at the start of knockdown. Definitely worth getting. And he just looks freaking cool. Look at that. I don't even know what he looks like, but he looks cool. And then lastly, this might be a bit of a controversial one, but for people with high scores in the versus light subjugation, there's probably no argument here. which is Bloody Lavania. He's up there solely for the Versus Light Subjugation, so in all Triple S10 clears of the Versus Light Subjugation, he's used in Wave 2, along with Lacrima Theo. Just does ridiculous damage. He self-buffs his attack and dark damage 30%, and then he has a massive Caged Vigor buff as well. I think it goes up to 80% if you fully ascended him. So he's really, really good, and highly recommend if you're very close to Triple S1 in the Versus Light Moose, then try to get this guy. Alright, the SS supports are all really, really good, so if you have any of these characters, worth getting their skill up to the max, and then just investing books in them as you need. Obviously try to put the books into your DPSs first. But if you find that these supports are going down and that's the only thing stopping you from getting a high score, slab them up or work on the EX staff or spears. So first is Lacrima Baldy. She has a similar buff to Akeha, not quite as good. But she'll do that pursuit buff where you get 20% damage increase on attacks that are 3 or more hits, I believe. That's the whole reason you use her. Next we have Lacrima Griff. He actually has high attack, you can do a little bit of damage with him. But the main reason you want him is he has a passive attack buff at the start. And then his character skill will do 30% attack buff. As well as improving skill cooldowns, which is super important if you're trying to get 2 character skills off in the final wave. Or if you're trying to get 2 rounds of weapon skills off with Gale in wave 2. Should mention too that Celeb Saryu and Gale should be used in either wave 1 or 2 because they need to be at full health to do their max damage. Baldy's really good in wave 3 because he needs to take damage in order to get his max damage. Next we have Celeb Noelle. I don't have her myself and I've forgotten what her buff is, but she buffs attack for the party from memory. She's used in wave 1 and 2 quite a lot, just to buff attack. And her spear is really good, spear is really good in subjugations, but I just can't remember what it does. Next is Lacrima Theo. She is basically essential for a triple S clear of the Versus Light Moose in combination with Bloody Lavania. So she'll do like a Dark Imperil where she increases damage taken by dark attacks. Similarly to that, we have this Argo here. Is it Fractured Argo? I think. He'll do that but for water, so they'll increase the water damage taken, so good to use against the Fire Moose. And then lastly, similar to the other two, we have Fractured Demus. He'll increase wind damage taken, so he's good against the Water Moose. And the combo of Fractured Demus and Gale in Wave 2 in the Versus Water Subjugation is absolutely broken. You can do well over 300 million if you max them out. Alright, so that's all the Triple S and SS's. I'll go through the rest of them quite briefly, because I suppose in most situations you want to be using characters from these first 3 rows. However, S and above is all really good. You want to use a minimal amount of A characters, and then anything that's B or below you should really be avoiding, if you can. I know it's hard if you have a new account. So in S tier we have EX Griff, massive damage that increases as your combo gets bigger, so he's good in wave 1 with your combo team. I wouldn't try to go for EX Griff unless you like the character before going for Lavania, Lars and Baldy. They're just better, objectively. We have 2P. She's similar to Celeb Gayle and Celeb Saryu in that she does more damage when she's at higher health, so good for wave 1 and 2, mainly wave 1. Next is Summer Akeha. She can replace A2 or EX Baldy if you don't have a good, strong greatsword user. Plus, she's a cool character. Then we have EX, I don't know how to say her name, Priye, something like that. I just hate this character. I know that she does a lot of damage. I can't remember what her character skill is. But, you know, I don't know too much about her, I have to be honest. But apparently she does good damage. Next is New Year's Noelle. So she has a similar character skill to A2. She might be better in the versus wind subjugation because she gets a boost when equipped with fire weapons. But overall, really good damage. If you have her, use her for sure. And then our last DPS in the S tier is Fractured 063Y. Again, he's a good greatsword replacement for EX Baldy or A2 if you don't have either of those two. Alright, so next we're getting into some S ranked support. So we have New Year's Rion. He will increase light damage for your party. Not quite as much to the same level as the elemental guys up here. So that's why I put him in S, but he's used in a lot of high level versus dark clears, so in a good light team. Now we have the new character, Bloody Saryu. I unlocked her myself because I was struggling to get the Zenith Cube for the versus fire, so my water team needed a bit of a boost. And she boosted me like 5 tiers just by having her. So she'll increase the water damage that your party does. She also has a character ability that increases attack passively, similar to Lacrima Griff. So she's really good. Next we have the Masked Bald Girl, F66X. She's really good for fire, boosting your fire team. Does similar things to Lacrima Fio, so boosts your fire damage. Can't remember what her passives are, to be honest, but good for fire teams. Then we have the handout New Year's Gale. She's good for boosting dark damage. Not quite as good as Lacrima Fio, but if you have her and not Fio, definitely use her. Christmas Lavania will boost the light damage for your team. So again, lots of light options here, which is good. Also on the S tier we have Fractured Lars. So if you don't have EX Lars, this is probably the next best version to use for his character skill as a support, because he does a 50% defense break, just like Celebratory Gale. So he's really good. Again, another defense break in New Year's Rion. He's purely support for a defense break, and then Lacrima Lars last. I think he also boosts the light damage for the party. Oopsies. Alright, now we're getting into the A tier, so I'm just going to quickly run through these guys. So Gale has high attack, so she can be an alright DPS if you don't have a better version of Gale. Noelle, she has Bold Vigor, EX Noelle, so she can do some damage, but she has to be at 100% health. Bit difficult to use. I can't remember what version of... This might be EX. Yeah, this is EX Argo. He's very similar to Noelle in that he gets Bold Vigor at 100% health. These two versions of Lavania, if you don't have any of the others, are quite good damage dealers, so you can use them as a DPS until you get some higher tier DPS support. DPS characters. Fractured Griff, he does a lot of damage. I don't have him myself. I think he might have a light buff or something like that, I can't remember. Or maybe like he's better when he's equipped with light weapons, but he has high attack and I think he has Bold Vigor as well, so another good one for the early waves. Abstract Noelle, she's got a good 5-hit character skill with a high damage multiplier, good in the first or second wave if you don't have any others. 2B also has a 5-hit character skill, better when she's at lower HP. She's good for wave 2, I would say, if you can get her to take some damage, or in a combo team in wave 1. Then we have Masked Noelle. These aren't really in an arranged order, by the way. I don't use these characters enough to know which ones are better. So she does the dark buff for the party, I think, or maybe it's just herself, I've forgotten. But she's a much better arena character than Subjugation. Demos, he has a 5-hit character skill again, so he could be good for a combo team in wave 1. EX Akeha, high attack. Abstract Saryu, high attack, and I think gets boosted with fire weapons, so maybe good for versus wind in wave 1. Then we have Tokyo Ghoul Akeha, that's just what I call her. I think she does more damage with wind weapons from memory. This Argo is an interesting one. His character skill kinda sucks in terms of damage, but he'll give himself a massive pursuit buff. So if you give him an EX weapon, use his character skill to give him a pursuit buff, he can actually do quite good damage. I did test him out a little bit, because I have him in wave 1, and I was actually surprised at the amount of damage he can dish out. So If you're, for some reason you have him, give him a try. Let me know what you get. Next is Bloody Gale. Try to use another version of Gale, in all honesty. She's got decent attack, but that's about it. Zero, again, decent attack, but not really useful for subjugation overall. But good waifu if you need to boost the team. Next we have Theo. She can actually do insane damage against the water moose because she gets a buff from memory if she's afflicted with a status, and the water moose poisons you in wave 2, I believe. So if someone can do a massive run with this version of Theo, post it on YouTube, that'd be awesome. Okay, I tried to play around with it a bit, but I've got her actually at level 85 because I keep pulling her for some reason. But I actually might test it out and post it on YouTube just with a level 85 Theo, see what we can get. Okay, then we have, excuse me, the World Ender, so the main character from Nier Replicant. He's kind of a support character in that he boosts crit rate, and he's got good high attack, but again, you want to be using another higher tier DPS if possible. Baseball Cap Griff, he's quite good in that his buff is, if you're struggling to get knocked down, he might even be better than Lacrima Griff for your team, because his character skill actually does a hit, but he'll boost attack by 30% for 30 seconds. I'm actually, oops, this isn't my active tier list. I would say you could actually put him in S tier, along with maybe even Abstract Gale. She'll also do a 20% attack buff for 30 seconds. So these two are actually quite good, and sometimes get a run in my team. Not the Gale, because I'm always using Celeb Gayle, but if you don't have Celeb Gayle, this is a great version to use. Next is Anniversary Theo. I've put her in A tier because there's better attack buffers, right? So Baseball Cap Griff and Abstract Gale are both better attack buffers. Celeb Noel. Who else boosts attack? Yeah, there's just better attack buffers. But if you're really struggling to find an attack buffer, chuck her in your team. The other one you can use is the 3-star Demos. I think it's the, I can't remember the name of it, but the one with that came with the light boon gun in the recent event. He does a decent attack buff actually. This tier list that I used didn't have 3-star characters, so I'm not going to go through them, but I will mention a few good ones. The 3-star version of Griff with the defense break, really good. There's a 3-star version of Gale, Dissenting Gale, which also does a defense break. I think it's 20 or 30% for 30 seconds, also really good. Zero can boost crit rate if you're struggling there. And I think, and I've already mentioned the Demos, so they're kind of the 3 that I would use if I was going to use any 3-star characters in Subjugation. And use them solely as support characters. You don't really want to be using 3 stars as your DPS. And then lastly, we have Fractured Gale. I actually have no idea what she does, but I quickly read her character skills and chucked her in A for whatever reason. Right, let's look at the bottom part of the list. So B to unreleased or suboptimal, you don't want to be, generally you don't want to be using these characters. If you have a hole that needs filling, or you need to debuff a boss in order to survive, or have a heal in order to survive, then go ahead and use them. But if you're going for triple S scores, none of these characters should be in your team, ever. So you've got Intona Akeha, just not enough damage. Same with this Griff. He does something with water weapons. I can't remember exactly what the skill is, but it's not good enough. This version of Lars is okay. You could use his 4-hit character skill in wave 1 if you at a pinch, but try to avoid. Emil, not enough damage. Akeha, Theo. Theo's weapon is great, by the way. Her fist. So highly recommend her weapon, but not so much the character. And then in C, we have this version of Bald Man. He just poisons the boss. Don't need that. Demus blinds, but you can't blind the Subjugation boss, so don't use. And then these versions of Rion, not enough damage. They look kind of aim to be attacking versions of Rion, but they're not good enough. 9S, not enough attack. Fractured Demus, coolest design in the game. Looks freaking cool, but, you know, again, just not enough damage. And then this version of Theo, nah, character skills useless, boost agility. These characters should never be used except if you're trying to survive against a boss. So if you're going for that 200% survival bonus in Quest 4, sometimes you might need to use a character that reduces attack or heals the team. So in terms of ones that are useful for that, this version of Akeha boosts your defense. Okay for survivability. This version of Noelle's great. She's super fat and tanky, so you could probably chuck her in wave 3 and she'll survive. And then she reduces the attack by quite a lot. I kind of think it's 50% even. And then you got good healers, so Rion, F66X. This is the best version, Bloody, F66X. She'll do the best healing in the game over 5 turns, so 50% in total, 10% each turn for 5 turns. Priye, or Priyet, however you say it, she has a provoke, so that might be useful to draw. If you have, for some reason, using a bold vigor character with a heal or something like that, I don't know. I wouldn't use her, put it that way. You could use her in wave 1 or 2, sorry, to draw away from your Celeb Gayle or your 2P or Celeb Zaryu, something like that, but it's pretty suboptimal. This version of F66X is also a great healer, and then the rest are just low attack characters with pretty pointless abilities in Subjugation anyway. Like this version of Demus is awesome in Arena. Yeah, some of these guys are good in Arena. Bloody Akeha I have, she just removes a status, for example, with her character skill, so not worth using. Don't worry about these guys. There is another healing version of Theo, I think it's this one, Simulacrum Girl, or maybe it's Intona Girl, I can't remember. But either way, don't use. Alright, and then we got the 3 characters which are coming up soon. Fractured Akeha, which from memory was really good. Fractured Noelle, which I think she's going to be good for PvP, for boosting agility. And then the abstract version of the new character. Not sure what she does. But that's my tier list. Again, try to be using A and above where possible. A and above will get you decent enough scores. You can get into double S quite easily using A, S, and a few double S characters. But if you're going for triple S clears, you kind of need to have teams that are only using SS and triple S characters with maybe 1 or 2 S or A characters. So that's that. I have done a few more Subjugation clears, so I'll post them soon. I'm struggling to break into triple S1, but I've hit SS10 on most of the elements, so I'll post my new teams soon. I think the main thing stopping me is not having EX Lars, and not having EX Baldy, as well as my slabs, because I didn't play for quite a while, so I'm pretty behind on them, but starting to catch up. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next Nier video. Catches.